to protect you. Look away.
How are you so good at killing people?
Your father didn't marry me for my cooking.
The Bluff arrives as a gripping survival thriller that blends emotional intensity with high-stakes action, creating a story that feels both intimate and explosive at the same time. Rather than presenting itself as a straightforward action spectacle, the film leans into tension, atmosphere, and character-driven stakes. At its heart, The Bluff is about deception, endurance, and the dangerous line between courage and desperation. Every decision made by its central character carries weight, and every quiet moment feels like the calm before a coming storm. The film builds its identity around suspense, making the audience constantly question what is real, what is strategy, and what is pure survival instinct. From the opening sequences, the setting establishes itself as a powerful force within the narrative. A remote coastal landscape stretches endlessly, cliffs towering above restless waves that crash with relentless force. The isolation is immediate and suffocating. The sea is beautiful but unforgiving, and the land feels equally merciless. This backdrop is not just visual spectacle. It mirrors the emotional terrain the protagonist must navigate. The vast horizon suggests freedom, yet the jagged rocks below hint at imminent danger. Nature becomes both refuge and threat, reinforcing the central tension that runs through the story. The protagonist is introduced as someone shaped by resilience. Whether driven by a need to protect family, escape a troubled past, or secure a future that feels increasingly uncertain, their motivations are grounded and deeply human. There is no exaggerated heroism, at first only quiet determination. Subtle details reveal emotional scars and unfinished chapters. The film takes time to establish vulnerability before thrusting the character into chaos. This deliberate pacing strengthens the impact of what follows, because when danger arrives, it disrupts something fragile and meaningful. The catalyst for conflict emerges, unexpectedly but feels inevitable in hindsight. A hidden secret, a long-buried rivalry, or a dangerous group seeking something of value converges on the isolated setting. The tension escalates steadily. Conversations become layered with suspicion. Friendly faces conceal unclear intentions. The air itself feels charged with impending betrayal. The concept of a bluff becomes more than a title, it becomes a strategy, a defense mechanism, and a gamble. Characters test one another, probing for weakness, masking fear behind calculated confidence. As events spiral, the film shifts into a survival-driven narrative. Physical danger intensifies. The cliffs that once symbolized beauty now threaten fatal consequences. Chase sequences unfold along narrow ridges and unstable terrain. Each step feels precarious, and the cinematography emphasizes height, distance, and vulnerability. The ocean roars below like an ever-present reminder that one miscalculation could end everything. Yet amid the action, the emotional stakes remain central. Survival is not just about staying alive. It is about protecting something or someone that gives life meaning. The antagonist or opposing force operates with chilling precision. Rather than relying on exaggerated villainy, the threat feels calculated and disturbingly realistic. Their motivations may stem from greed, revenge, or desperation of their own, adding complexity to the confrontation. The film avoids simple moral binaries. Instead, it suggests that extreme circumstances can push anyone toward dangerous choices. This moral ambiguity deepens the tension, as the audience understands that every character believes they are justified in their actions. Defining strength of the bluff lies in its psychological layers. The protagonist must rely not only on physical endurance but also on mental strategy. Deception becomes a tool for survival. Moments arise where a carefully delivered lie buys precious time. A staged act of weakness lures an enemy into overconfidence. The tension during these exchanges is palpable. Dialogue carries double meanings. Silence stretches uncomfortably, forcing viewers to read between the lines. The concept of bluffing evolves into a metaphor for human resilience, the ability to project strength even when fear threatens to overwhelm. As the story progresses, alliances shift unpredictably. A character who initially appears trustworthy may reveal hidden motives. Another who seems antagonistic may show unexpected empathy. These reversals maintain suspense and prevent the narrative from becoming predictable. Each twist feels earned rather than forced, rooted in the established personalities and pressures of the environment. Trust becomes a scarce commodity. The isolation of the setting amplifies this uncertainty. As there are no external authorities to intervene, no safe escape routes waiting nearby, the film's pacing carefully balances explosive action with quieter, reflective moments. After intense confrontations, the narrative slows just enough to explore emotional consequences. The protagonist confronts doubt, fear, and guilt. Flashbacks or subtle visual cues hint at what is truly at stake: family bonds, promises made long ago, or personal redemption. These glimpses into the past enrich the present conflict. Survival becomes intertwined with emotional closure. The audience begins to see that winning the physical battle may not be enough. The internal battle must also be faced. Cinematography plays a crucial role in sustaining tension. Wide shots of cliffs emphasize isolation, while tight close-ups capture flickers of hesitation and resolve. The natural lighting, harsh sunlight, or stormy gloom reflects shifting moods. Weather patterns often coincide with narrative turns. A sudden storm may erupt as conflict reaches its peak, waves crashing violently as if echoing the chaos unfolding above. The environment feels reactive, almost alive, heightening immersion. Sound design further intensifies the experience. The crash of waves, the whistle of wind cutting across stone, the distant echo of footsteps all contribute to a layered sensory atmosphere. In moments of confrontation, sound drops away to near silence, amplifying heartbeats and breath. This interplay between noise and quiet enhances suspense, making even the smallest movement feel consequential. The audience becomes hyper-aware, mirroring the protagonist's sharpened senses. Midway through the film, a significant turning point shifts the power dynamic. A plan goes wrong or a hidden truth surfaces, forcing the protagonist into a more vulnerable position. What once seemed manageable spirals into near hopelessness. This low point is essential, stripping away confidence and forcing a reevaluation of strategy. The bluff that once worked may no longer hold. The stakes escalate to their highest level, and survival appears uncertain. It is in this vulnerable space that the protagonist's core strength emerges. Resourcefulness replaces brute force. Ingenuity outmaneuvers aggression. The film suggests that true power lies not in dominance but in adaptability. The protagonist studies their surroundings, turning the environment into an ally. Narrow paths become traps for pursuers. Shifting tides create unexpected opportunities. The bluff transforms from desperate gamble into calculated mastery. As the climax unfolds, tension peaks in a sequence that merges physical peril with emotional reckoning. Confrontations occur at the edge of the bluff itself, where one wrong move could result in fatal consequences. The imagery of standing at the precipice mirrors the protagonist's internal crossroads. Fear and courage coexist in equal measure. The final exchange between opposing forces carries not only physical stakes but thematic weight. Words spoken in these moments reveal deeper truths about pride, sacrifice, and the cost of deception. The resolution avoids simplistic triumph. Even if the protagonist survives or succeeds, the experience leaves a mark. There is exhaustion, perhaps loss, and a recognition that bluffing comes with consequences. Yet there is also growth. The character emerges changed, having confronted both external threats and internal fears. The isolated cliffs that once symbolized danger may now represent resilience and transformation. The bluff ultimately becomes a story about the masks people wear under pressure. It examines how far someone will go to protect what matters and whether deception can ever be entirely separated from integrity. The film respects the intelligence of its audience, refusing to spoon-feed conclusions. Instead, it invites reflection. How often do we project confidence we do not feel? When does a bluff become belief? Beyond its action and suspense, the film resonates because of its emotional authenticity. The protagonist's fear feels real. The stakes feel personal. The environment feels tangible. By grounding its thriller elements in human vulnerability, The Bluff transcends genre expectations. It delivers not only adrenaline but also introspection. In its final moments, the camera lingers on the vast coastline once more. The waves continue their relentless rhythm, indifferent to human struggle. The cliffs stand unmoved, bearing silent witness to what transpired. The protagonist looks out across the horizon, carrying the weight of survival and the lessons carved into memory. The story closes on an image of endurance, a reminder that sometimes strength is not about overpowering the enemy, but about holding steady at the edge and daring to stand firm through its layered storytelling, atmospheric tension, and emotionally driven performances. The Bluff establishes itself as a thriller that values depth as much as danger. It proves that suspense can coexist with heart, and that the most powerful confrontations are often those fought within. Long after the screen fades to black, the feeling remains, a lingering awareness of how close we all stand to our own metaphorical edge, and how Korag